This is the eighth gate of Kamasaka Zen, known as Samu. This is Dharma talk number 2, and it's called The Role of Intention and the Practical Applications of Samu, known as Mindful Effort in Daily Life. Samu, or mindful effort, it represents one of the most profound yet practical aspects of the spiritual journey. And it finds its roots in everyday activities that we engage in. And it draws meaning from the subtle connection between our intention and our actions. And at Kamasaka Zen Monastery, Samu is regarded as the eighth gate, a point of transformation where spiritual insight meets the practical realities of life. And it invites us to cultivate mindfulness through effort in all the things that we do. So Samu is not merely a physical labour activity. It is intentional, mindful effort imbued with a reverence and awareness. Because in Zen, work is not separate from meditation. It is meditation itself. Every task, whether sweeping the floor or washing the dishes, doesn't matter, or even tending the garden. It's an opportunity for self-cultivation and clarity. Because Samu asks us to shed ego-driven motives, set aside any craving for reward, any cravings for recognition or outcomes. Instead, we turn towards an internal focus on the act of working itself, seeking to bring our full attention to each moment of the action. At the heart of Samu lies intention. And in the Zen teachings, intention is understood as the root of karma, the driving force behind our actions. And as we engage in mindful effort, our intentions shape the quality of our actions and in turn influence the impact we have on our surroundings and on ourselves. When we bring attention into our actions, we elevate the mundane to the sacred, allowing even the simplest tasks to serve as acts of spiritual practice and insight. Intention in Buddhist philosophy is often described as the seed that gives rise to actions and their consequences. When we perform any task with pure intention, the act itself becomes meaningful, regardless of its outcome. So in Samu, intention functions as a compass, helping us to maintain awareness and presence throughout the activity. This is not to suggest that we should be overly preoccupied with a goal. Rather, it means we should remain connected to the purpose and the value of our actions simply as they unfold. Consider, for example, the act of preparing a meal and doing so with intention. When we cook with mindful effort, our intention might be to nourish our body or to bring joy to others, through the shared food. So with this intention, we are more likely to approach each step of the process, from the chopping of the vegetables or to the stirring a pot, with careful attention. This mindful engagement not only enriches the act of cooking, but also deepens our appreciation for the food. Our deep appreciation of the food and the people with whom we're going to share it. So intention transforms the act from routine to meaningful. And it's opening a space where the sacred and everyday begin to emerge. This sacred intention in Samu encourages a mindful attitude towards any work we undertake. But in daily life, it requires us to consider our motivations. We are working to fulfill a sense of obligation, to gain approval, or to achieve a certain status? Or are we able to cultivate an inner sense of purpose and engage mindfully with the task at hand? Because when our attention is based in mindfulness and compassion, our actions reflect this quality, turning work into a form of meditation that nurtures both self-awareness and presence. So applying Samu to daily life, it can take many forms, but at its core is always mindful engagement. The household chores, they're often seen as mundane or repetitive tasks. But Samu invites us to view them as opportunities for mindfulness. Washing dishes, cleaning surfaces, tidying up, they may seem absolutely trivial. But with mindful effort, these tasks can become a meditative practice. So instead of rushing through these chores, we can take time to focus on each emotion, the sensation of the temperature of the water, the sound of the scrubbing, the satisfaction of completion. This simple practice allows us to shift our perspective, seeing each task as an opportunity to cultivate presence and appreciation for our own living space. Food preparation is another daily activity that can benefit from mindful effort. When we approach cooking with mindfulness, we honour the ingredients, we honour the process, and we honour the meal as a whole. Paying attention to each detail, the aroma of the spices, the texture of the vegetables, the heat of the stove. It all grounds us in the present moment in the activity that we are completing. And eating. Eating too can become a part of an act of samu. When we eat mindfully, we slow down, savouring each bite and expressing gratitude for the nourishment that we are receiving. And this practice not only enhances our enjoyment of the food, but also brings awareness to our body's needs and our body's responses. And then in our professional lives, Samu reminds us to work with full awareness and effort, regardless of our task. And practicing mindful effort at work, it involves focusing on one task at a time, minimizing distractions, and maintaining a positive and cooperative attitude. This does not imply that we should work tirelessly without rest. Rather, it encourages a balance of effort and rest, allowing us to approach each task with clarity and intention. And by doing so, we improve our quality of work, we improve our sense of fulfillment, and we improve our ability to engage with colleagues harmoniously. So, now, communication. Communication area where Samu can have a profound impact. Mindful listening and intentional speaking help us to communicate more authentically and compassionately. When we listen to others with full attention, we honour their experience and open a space for genuine connection. Mindful speaking, on the other hand, encourages us to choose our words carefully, ensuring that they align with our intentions and that they convey kindness. So practicing Samu in communication, it strengthens our relationships and it fosters mutual understanding, making our interactions more harmonious and meaningful. Physical exercise, whether it's yoga or walking or a structured workout, can also be transformed through mindful effort, where we simply engage in physical activity, with attention. Then we turn our body's sensations, our body's movements, and our limits. We tune into these. For example, practicing yoga as Samu encourages us to respect our body's abilities and to breathe consciously through each pose. And then by bringing mindful effort to physical exercise, we foster a healthier relationship with our body, viewing it as an instrument of our spiritual practice, rather than simply a separate entity. Look, even something as routine as driving the car can benefit from mindful effort. Rather than rushing or driving on autopilot in our mind, we can bring our attention to each moment of the journey, being mindful of our speed, being mindful of our reactions, and being mindful of the surrounding traffic allows us to drive safely and calmly. And this approach can reduce stress, and it can improve our awareness on the road, making driving a peaceful experience, rather than quite often how it's seen as a source of attention, particularly on the freeway. So, while Samu offers immense benefits, maintaining mindful effort in daily life, it can be challenging. In a world that values speed and productivity, slowing down to bring attention to every task, it may start to seem a little bit counterproductive, because we are often conditioned to prioritize results over the process. And this can lead to stress. It can lead to fatigue and a sense of disconnection from the present moment. Because practicing Samu requires a conscious commitment to mindfulness, as well as patience and self-compassion. But there will be moments when we lose focus. There will be moments when we become distracted or we feel frustrated. However, the key to Samu, it lies not in perfection, but in persistence. And each time we stray from mindful effort, we are given opportunity to return with renewed awareness. And this continuous return to the present moment, it is itself a powerful aspect of our own spiritual growth. And it's teaching us resilience. It's teaching us adaptability and acceptance. So the essence of Samu is not limited to specific tasks or moments. It extends into our entire approach to life. And as we incorporate mindful effort into our daily routines, we begin to develop a more conscious and compassionate attitude towards ourselves and others. And then each act of Samu brings us closer to a state of mindfulness that transcends any single activity, encouraging a way of living that is simply grounded in awareness. It's grounded in intention, and it's grounded in reverence for all aspects of existence. So Samu, it's a lifelong process, a lifelong practice. And it allows us to view life as a continuous flow of opportunities for simply for growth and insight. And by practicing mindful effort consistently, we cultivate an inner calm that can carry us through life's challenges and joys. And then over time, this practice deepens our understanding of interconnectedness and understanding of the concept of impermanence, fostering a state of humility, a state of gratitude for each moment that we experience. So therefore, Samu, as the eighth gate of Kamasaka Zen, it illuminates the sacred. It illuminates the sacred nature of daily effort and of our intention, bridging the gap between spiritual insight and practical action. By embracing mindful effort, we turn these ordinary activities simply into moments of presence, and we are transforming routine tasks into pathways of spiritual development. Whether we are sweeping the floor or raking the grass, or simply engaging in conversation, Samu offers us a way to live with intention. It offers us a way to live with respect and mindfulness. And it's through this practice that we cultivate a deeper connection, not only to ourselves, but to the world that simply surrounds us. And we're allowing each moment to unfold as an integral part of this spiritual journey. And in this world that is filled with distractions and demands, Samu reminds us to return to the simplicity and the clarity of mindful effort. And that as we bring attention to our daily lives, intention to our daily lives, we discover that even the smallest act holds the potential for profound insight and transformation. And then in this way, Samu simply becomes more than a practice. It becomes a way of life. A life lived with purpose. A life lived with presence. And a life lived with peace. Thank you for listening today.